you guys ever think about dying?
Happy Barbenheimer Day. Barbie versus Oppenheimer. Chris Nolan versus Greta Gerwig. Margot Robbie versus Cillian Murphy. But which one do you watch first? Which one's gonna be the better film? And which one is gonna make the most amount of money? Well, that's what today's discussion is on Han Talks First. I am joined by writer-director Manny Baeza, and we're gonna talk about all these questions and more. And then at the end, we're gonna just discuss a little bit about Mission Impossible, because why not? This channel was originally dedicated to all Star Wars, but I've decided to branch out and talk about all movies, and I'm excited about today's episode because it is the first of many more to come. Do me a favor though, before you leave, or if you decide to skip the video, why don't you comment down below which you're more excited about and which you think is gonna make the most amount of money at the box office this year. It's a little unprecedented that a studio, Warner Brothers, would release two very big films on the same exact day. I'm really excited about both these movies, and I'm really excited to watch them today. So let us make the decision for you on which you should see first tonight, and enjoy my discussion with Manny Baeza. Okay, and we're here with Manuel Baeza. We're talking about Barbenheimer. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little nervous because we were just talking before we hit record, but you guys know I haven't podcasted in a long time. It's been a while. I feel like I'm a newbie again. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what these buttons do. I'm losing my
You'll
mind.
pick it up. You'll pick it up right away.
I hope so.
You will.
I know you guys are familiar with Han Talks First as a Star Wars podcast, but a while ago I decided I want to branch out. I want to talk about other things. And this episode is kind of like that little test to see if it's going to work, if we can talk about other things, movies and TV and things like that. And I decided, why not start with this whole Barbie and Oppenheimer fad that's going on right now? And with the main topic being, what do you go out and see in the theaters first? Because if you're watching this, if I did my job right, this comes out on Thursday morning, and you all can watch this video and make the decision and leave your comments below on what you are going to go see first. But Manny, tell me about how you've been feeling about both these films, the marketing for them, where your anticipation is, and what are you excited about either one of them?
Oh, so I'm personally excited for Oppenheimer. I'm huge Nolan fan. Like, I love all his films, and even though, like, some of them are kind of hard to understand at some points, like especially in Tenet, it's like a little bit out there, but it was fun. But yeah, I'm like I think they're doing a great job with Oppenheimer, the marketing. Like it's everywhere, and it's just like so fun, like just, I mean, it's not a fun topic for a film, but yeah, but it's like, and it's like we all know like the history, what happens and everything, but it's going to be interesting to see Cillian Murphy, man, like that lead role.
He
like
finally has a lead role.
Yeah, finally in a Nolan film. Like, he's always like even in Dunkirk, when he was just like the unknown soldier, like the nameless soldier, he was great. Like, just the little pieces he was in, but it's gonna be awesome.
Speaking of Cillian, I've never been the biggest fan of his. Not to say that I'm not a supporter. I support him. I think he's great in all of his supporting roles. But when it comes to Cillian Murphy as a leading man, I've never been attracted to that until the marketing for this film. He looks like he was made for this role. And he almost kind of was. Like, all those side supporting cast roles he's done in other Nolan films, it's almost like he was being trained to star in his own Chris Nolan movie. So now I'm hoping this movie turns me on to him, because I do think he's a good actor. He's just never been one of my favorites. But you're right. I think this movie could be his big break, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, they're saying a lot of big things about it. Like Robert Downey saying it's like the best film that he's ever been in. To date, and then like
better than Doolittle. Are you serious?
That was better than that little part in Weird Science, bro.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow. So what about Barbie? How do you feel about Barbie?
I love Greta Gerwig. I like her style and everything, and I'm just like really curious, like, to see what this movie is like about, like if it's even real, like, you know what I mean, like, 'cause watching it, like the trailer, I'm just like, I feel like the ending is going to be like, it's going to be like little girls playing with Barbies or something, and it's like a movie, you know. But that, like, I mean, it can go like anywhere. Like, I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned that because there was a movie in 2000 that came out. It was a Disney Channel original called Life Size. And it
I
actually
remember that
seemed,
one.
you remember that?
I remember Life Size. Yep.
It seems to have the same premise as this. You know, I too, I'm not sure what Barbie is about, like plot wise, but in Life Size, doll comes to life and hangs out with the kid, that kind of thing. And in Barbie, it seems like they're leaving Barbie land and escaping into the real world and seeing what it's really like out there. But
Yeah.
I mean, Barbie, they put a lot of faith behind the marketing of this film. They believe in it. They think it's
Yeah.
going to be big, and they have every right to. I mean, it's a multi-generational toy. Everyone knows the name Barbie. You got Margot Robbie there,
Yep.
and Ryan Gosling.
And I mean,
Simu
it's like
Liu.
it doesn't like, you know, hurt it that fact that like Margot Robbie is like for all the screening she's dressing up as like those Barbies, you know, like the different
Yeah,
it like that's totally like whoa, like they're really like they're all backing this, like they're, you know, 100% in like in this, you know.
they had so much faith in the marketing of this film, in the production of this film, that there was a worldwide shortage of pink paint. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
There was. They used so much pink paint on set to build Barbie Land and to do all the costumes and all these kind of things. The car, there was a shortage of pink paint. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I heard about that, like that mansion in, what was it, in LA that like had the pink mansion.
Yes, it's in Malibu. You can actually rent it on Airbnb.
Wow.
The marketing for Barbie and Oppenheimer, it's like back to the old days pre-COVID of marketing movies. Like they're getting
Yeah.
out there, grassroots, they're having pop-ups. You see it so much more even outside of LA.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. I didn't think about that. It's like stuff I see when I was a kid, like with the marketing of movies, you know? Like they would really
Yeah.
go all out with like just like silly stuff, but it was really cool, you know?
Do you remember when The Force Awakens came out or was about
Yes.
to come out
Yes.
and
Yes.
every store had a billion different Star Wars
Yep.
licensed material?
Yeah, I think McDonald's too. They had like Happy Meals and stuff with like McDonald's theme, like the little pod racers and everything. It is cool, man. It's cool, like the old days like that. Like just, and that's why like it takes me back too. Like I didn't think about it, like why it was like so nostalgic feeling to me. Like when I see like this marketing for these two movies, even for Mission Impossible, the new one, it's like it's cool how they're doing the marketing, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. So let's get into the main question today. What do you see first? There's a bunch of memes about this going around. And
Yeah.
some people are saying you start off the day with coffee, a cigarette, and Oppenheimer. And then you end your day by feeling better by watching Barbie and going and getting boba. Like tons of memes. I think there's multitude of ways you can view both of these films, either the same
Yeah.
day or on separate days. But let me tell you about my answer, and then I'll get into yours, Manny. So for me, I don't have the option anymore because I'm an idiot, and every Oppenheimer screening in LA is gone. They're gone. And I'm that picky film nerd who's like, I gotta watch it on IMAX 70 millimeter film. And there's only one location to watch that in LA, and that's Universal City Walk. And they're booked for the next 2.5 weeks. So I have to wait. But
Wow.
I
Two and a
might,
half weeks.
it's it's wild. But if I had the option, which would I go to see first? It would be Oppenheimer. And that's because one, it's a 3 hour film. You know, I would probably start midday, get out, have dinner, and then go to Barbie. Barbie, I feel like will end on a higher note. As
Yeah.
we just talked about Oppenheimer, tough subject material. And all the premieres, the people coming out of it, they leave with this sense of like, wow, the world's kind of a fucked up place.
That's what I read too. Like the first reactions are like people just felt like really like sad and stuff, you know, like they were just like it really like messed them up. And I was like, whoa, yeah, I mean, it's a that subject for the film is like, you know, it's pretty intense.
There was this one review that my girlfriend showed me that I cracked up about. It was poorly worded. They tried to make a pun, but it didn't work. They were like, Oppenheimer blows a load of despair inside of you. And I
Oh
read that. I
man.
was like, oh no, he didn't think about what he just said. What is your ideal order in which you watch these films? What do you see first?
Ah man. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna end up doing. I feel the logical choice to do is actually watch, Oppenheimer first, and then like chill out with Barbie at the end. But I think I wanted to probably do Barbie first, and then go to Oppenheimer for like the
Okay.
main feature. For me, it's like it just kicks back to like when I was a kid, like going to the drive-in, and you see like the kids movie first, and then it's like that '90s action film after.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
an
like
interesting way to put it.
yeah, because that's what I was kind of thinking about it the other day. I was like, which one would I watch first? And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna end up watching Barbie first, like watching that, and then like going into like this heavy movie after. Oppenheimer is like literally the only movie like that's ever gonna that I've seen that's got in the premium large format or whatever hit down here.
I
I
actually want
think
to talk about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So
yeah,
right now, Mission Impossible is dominating the large format screens. IMAX, Prime, Dolby, all of the above. And they only had a week to do that because Oppenheimer has filled all the real estate starting on Thursday for IMAX screenings, kicking out Mission Impossible completely. And that, of course, is
wow,
because Chris Nolan has a deal with IMAX. The movies are shot on IMAX.
yep,
He's the biggest advocate, the biggest poster child for IMAX movies. It seems fair that they would show them exclusively in IMAX. But you got to feel bad for Mission Impossible, right? Because those films you also kind of want to see on the large format screens too, you
yeah,
know?
totally want to see that. Like, I mean, Tom Cruise is like almost killing himself to like that.
I know, right?
Yeah, that big cinematic experience. Like you're eating popcorn, just like oh shit.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of any movie I see, I want to see it on IMAX, you know? Just it's better viewing experience, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, that's the reason why. Like, I mean, a lot of us like going to the movies. It's like that big screen, and like to have it like bigger. It's like, whoa, okay, I'd love that.
That's what she said.
Don't be gross.
I just had to you
Just
set it
kidding.
up for me. I just had to. Okay, so I want to touch on another question that is kind of the reverse of what we just talked about, which is instead of what is the order in which you'll see these films, I want to know if you only had the choice to see one, either Barbie or Oppenheimer, which would it be and why? Let me give you mine first.
Yep.
So mine would be Barbie, believe it or not. And my
Oh.
reasoning behind that is when you're going to a Chris Nolan film, I know exactly what I'm getting. I can almost exactly tell you how the film is going to play out.
That makes
I'm not
sense.
saying his
That makes
films are
sense.
formulaic, but what I am saying is that Chris Nolan is such a specific styled filmmaker that you can almost know exactly how you're going to feel before you even go in the theater. One example of this, I like to liken Chris Nolan films to a ticking clock. And if you listen to the films, they all of them are syncopated in their music and their
Yep.
rhythmic speed. It's usually all, you know, tick, tick, tick,
Yep.
and
That's
then
a
it
cool way to put it, man.
constantly,
That's a really cool way to like, yeah, that's awesome. It's so true though.
but it's like almost like someone is also winding up the gears at the same time and gradually getting faster. And the clock just ticks faster and faster and faster. And by the third act, it's like tick, 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 until it blows up. And, I know exactly what that does to me from a viewing audience experience. It parts of it are stressful, parts of it are exciting, you know, and there's also that the same types of characters are in every single Chris Nolan film. They always have a family issue. It's always about some guy who either lost their kids, their mom, their wife, or both their parents. Batman, both his parents, right?
Yeah, yeah.
What is it? The guy from Inception, forget his name right now. Leonardo
Cod.
Cobb.
Yeah, Cobb, right?
Cobb.
Yeah.
He
Yep.
lost his kids or no, he lost his wife,
Yep.
right?
He lost her, and then
And
his kids are like, yeah.
yep, every Chris Nolan Memento lost his wife. They're all the same as far as the characters go. And then you know absolutely nothing about the side characters. They don't really matter. They're just fodder. They're in the background. We don't get to learn as much about them. But their leads in Chris Nolan films are always very specific, well-developed characters. So with
Yeah,
Nolan, I know what I'm going to get. And with Barbie,
you have no
Greta's
idea.
done what, 2 films, right? Little Women, Lady
And
Bird,
yeah,
both very different movies, right? But yet she has a specific style to herself too, right? But like one was a drama coming of age, the other was a period drama, and now she's doing kind of almost a 4 quadrant film with fun and laughter, and they have a whole made up soundtrack by real musicians. Like it's different. It's something I haven't seen before. So that's kind of where I'm sitting at with as far as what would I choose to see, because I feel like Barbie, I haven't seen it done yet. Oppenheimer, I've seen enough Chris Nolan films to kind of know what's going to happen. And I don't say that in a negative way for anyone who's
no,
thinking
no.
I'm shitting on Chris Nolan. I think he's a masterful filmmaker. But I would choose Barbie. What about you, Manny? Give me your reasons. What would you see first? Or if you had to choose one.
Oppenheimer, man. I'm sucker for that Nolan, like as you said it with the ticking clock. Like and like, I went back and I watched Dunkirk to see how he does like, like true historical like films. And I was just like, he made me feel so stressed out with that movie. Like, and it's just like constantly just going and going. And it was like, I know what happens in Oppenheimer. Like I know, and it's funny you were saying about the lead characters that are like, with the family problems, because like, Oppenheimer, we know with him, he had like an affair with this other woman, and obviously she's in the fucking film, so it's gonna be like the same kind of like, formula in a way. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like we know it's gonna happen, like because he included this character. But I'm so stoked for it, man. I'm just like I want that. Like I love that. I love that stuff. Like I love Nolan, like especially like his work. And I mean, yeah, and like I just keep thinking about what you were saying about like the lead characters, like how true. And then like the side characters, like I just watched Tenet like for the first time like a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
and like I was like, man, I know nothing about Robert Pattinson's character,
Yep. You know
like
nothing about
nothing.
side characters in Nolan
Yeah,
films. You don't know anything. The only
yeah,
exception is Alfred from Batman, but that's because we know the story.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so with by answering that question, it leads me to another question I didn't, think about before, but it's what do you think will be the better film? Because I think Oppenheimer will be the better film, but when it comes to anticipation, I choose Barbie. Is it this? Is it the same for you, where you think
Yeah. I
Oppenheimer
mean,
will be better?
I think Oppenheimer is gonna be like amazing, but I don't know with Barbie, man. Like I don't know what to expect at all. Like that thing could be a masterpiece too. Like, you know what I mean? We don't even know. Like even from the trailers, like we can't really like pick up what's like gonna happen, It's just like
Yeah.
it could be anything, man. It could be like anything.
Okay, so to end our Barbenheimer discussion, let's talk about the box office a little bit, because this year has been a very interesting year financially for the industry. 2023 started January, February, March. We had big movies like Megan and John Wick and all these movies that blockbusters you don't normally see happen in the first quarter of a year was doing huge numbers. It was the biggest year for a first quarter of movies since 2019. They had some of the biggest numbers we'd ever seen, and from a bunch of independent films too, which was kind of impressive to see and really refreshing, actually.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
what's happened since, it's the strangest thing. The closer we got to the summer, it was dropping a little bit, nothing too crazy, kind of expected to see in the spring with a normal box office year. But then once the summer hit, we've been seeing flop after flop after flop. And these aren't any, comment on the quality of the films. This is strictly the amount of business they've been doing at the movie theaters. You had Little Mermaid, didn't make that much money. You had
Nope.
The Flash, a massive flop.
Oh my, that's a big one.
Indiana
Yeah.
Jones.
Yep.
Indiana Jones won't even break even. And there's tons more examples, but it's been going down in the box office ever since the summer season hit, which is not normal for Hollywood. Even considering coming right out of the pandemic, it should have been much better. And then you see Mission Impossible come out, which normally has had a trajectory in the franchise of constantly bigger and bigger opening weekends. But for some reason, this Mission Impossible didn't have a big opening. Now, it could have legs, but we just talked about how Oppenheimer is going to kick it out of IMAX.
Yeah.
So it won't make as much as it could. Now, when we get into Barbie and Oppenheimer, it's a little unprecedented for a studio to release both of their films on the same exact day. Now, part of that, they're recovering with great marketing, collaborative marketing, which is awesome. And then the online web makes tons of memes about it. They're doing a great job promoting the film.
Yep.
But like I just said at the top of the show, I'm having a hard time finding screenings of Oppenheimer. Even on Tuesdays at fucking 6 a.m., it's hard to find a screening. And the tracking for Barbie is suggesting it could make $80 million opening weekend. That's unheard of for a filmmaker like Greta Gerwig.
Yeah.
Especially when you have big blockbusters like Indiana Jones that can't even crack 45.
Yep.
And we know Chris Nolan is a box office draw, but his last film, Tenet, made like 300 million at the box office. Now, there was extenuating circumstances. It came out in the pandemic, in lockdown, which was a terrible decision. But traditionally, Nolan films have legs. Now, I went on a diatribe, but I'm curious from your perspective, what do you think will make more money opening weekend? And which do you think will make more money in general?
I think Barbie. Honestly, Barbie.
Really?
I think Barbie, dude. Like, just an example from down here in the Pearl Valley. I looked at the screenings for like, you know, the Thursday night, like the early screenings or whatever, the, you know, the midnight, like they're midnight now. But yeah, they like Barbie was like sold out almost like in all the showings for Thursday. And I was just like, whoa. And Oppenheimer, it had like probably like 2 showings that were like almost sold out. And it was like out of like, you know, the 5 showings, it was like nobody wanted to go past 6:30 to see Oppenheimer. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
I mean,
I got the 3-hour mark there.
Yeah, I got the 6:30 showing too because I got to work in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
But you know, if this is me back like, you know, 10 years ago or something, I would totally be there at midnight to like, dude, let's watch this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, midnight showings.
I miss the traditional midnight showings.
I do too. I do too. I really do. Like they're fun, man. Like staying up all night just to catch a movie, even if it sucked at the end.
Yep. And you know that you're only in the theater with like the diehard fans.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And yeah, I just feel like Barbie's gonna like it's just so like it has such a wide audience, you know? Like people are gonna be taking their kids, even though like there's so much like suggestive, like, you know, sexual stuff in there, like that I see in the trailers. Like, you know, like it just feels like it's gonna like spread around pretty evenly to like the kids, the adults, and like, you know, teenagers and stuff.
Yeah. So I think they both will be successful films. I think Barbie will make more money opening weekend, but ultimately I think Oppenheimer will be the more profitable film because traditionally Nolan films have long legs. Sorry, Barbie, your legs aren't long enough. But Nolan films tend to have great opening weekends and they stay in theaters for a long time.
Yeah. I'm like I'm super excited. I just feel like a kid again, you know, like it's a lot has to do with the marketing and like that's kind of what it like feels like with Mission Impossible too. Like,
yep, I get that, and that's a great transition to our end discussion. But that was it for Barbenheimer. Let us know in the comments or on social media what you're going to see first, what you're most excited for, and then after when the movies come out, I'll try and review them. And who knows, maybe Manny will join me and we'll talk about those movies together. All right, Manny. So I wanted to just chat with you a little bit about some other films because you just started for the first time watching the full Mission Impossible franchise, which blew my mind. And I kind of wish I got to watch them with you, dude. To like be there when you see things for the first time, all the crazy stunts. But tell me about that. What do you think of them so far?
Dude, it was exciting. I could see like the draw with these movies, you know, like as a kid, I went to go see the first one in theaters, and that was like it was pretty epic. Like watching that in theaters, like, you know, like the whole, you know, the espionage and just I don't know, just like Brian De Palma and stuff. And I was like, damn, this is like dark. And I rewatched it from the start, like just the first one, and then went to the second, all of them, and they were like I watch usually like one and a half a night. Like I'll watch one of them, and then like I'll watch probably the intro just before it does like the Mission Impossible credits. Like I just like a TV show, almost like, because I used to watch the TV show when I was a kid too.
Oh, you did?
I wasn't alive when it was like, airing big, but like my dad used to like, when I was like a kid in the 90s, he used to like make me watch like 60s and 70s shows with him all the time.
Wow.
So
most
like
people don't even know that it was based on a show. That's really cool.
Yeah. So like that's why it was like big when I was a kid, like seeing it in theaters, the first one, because like I had been watching the show with my dad already. And so like me and him went to go watch it, and it blew my mind. I was like, whoa, they went like crazy with the mask. Like back then the prosthetics, like that just like I was wow. And then you see like the one that blew my mind was in I think it was in 4 with Simon Pegg. Was it 4 or 5? The one where it's like it's a shot with the mirror, and it's like he puts the mask on and it like goes around and it shows the mirror and it's like the other actor.
Oh, I think it's 5. I think so.
That blew my mind. I was just like, wow. Like I looked it up because I was like, if that wasn't CGI, like I want to see how they did that.
I know, right?
And it was great.
They always like, there's the whole mask gimmick in every movie. That's kind of the shtick of Mission.
Yeah.
But they still like, each time they do it, it's a fresh take,
Yeah.
And it still surprises you sometimes, even in the new one, which you haven't seen yet, so I won't spoil it.
Yeah, I want to see the new one so bad. Like I have like, my time off that I want to use to go watch Oppenheimer.
I feel you.
I'm gonna watch Mission Impossible probably in the weekend. Like I'm gonna be in San Diego this weekend, so I'm gonna probably go Sunday or something, just go watch, Mission Impossible when I come back down. But
it's a good movie. Number 4 is still my favorite. It has been since I first saw it, but this new one, it's great, and I'm excited to hear your thoughts once you see Dead Reckoning Part 1. But that's the show for today, guys. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check out the YouTube page if you're listening to this on the podcast, and if you're watching this on the YouTube, check it out on the podcast. Everything is at Han Talks First. We'll be doing a lot more different types of videos and podcasts like this, talking about things other than Star Wars, but don't worry, I'm still a massive Star Wars fan, and we'll talk about Star Wars when there's something to talk about. But until next time, guys, thanks for being here. And Manny, where can people find you?
Instagram. Manny _Baeza that's my handle.
So go check him out, and hopefully we'll have him back on to talk more films. Take it easy, guys.